Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to the Bernadette Jackson Podcast, where we are redefining how the world views women with daddy issues by discussing topics, sharing stories, and gaining insight, all from the perspective of a fatherless daughter. I'm your host, Bernadette, the creator of Her Way Relationship Intensive and your favorite fear investigator. If this is your first time here, here's what I want you to know. The fear of abandonment and rejection is the lens through which fatherless daughters do most things. It informs how they show up in every relationship. Most fatherless daughters are operating in the fear of abandonment cycle, and they don't even know it. Each week, I focus on a topic that highlights how fear shows up in our lives, either through conversations with others or deep dives into the insights that I have. If you'd like to know if you're on the fear of abandonment cycle, go to BernadetteJackson.com/FOA cycle and take my free assessment. Again, that's BernadetteJackson.com/FOA cycle. Hey, y'all. So today I wanted to talk about something that came up for me a little while ago. The prerequisite to creating your unique relationship recipe is deciding which version of yourself is going to make the decisions about what you desire your relationships to look like. Will it be the healed version of you or the hurt version of you? For years, unbeknownst to me, I allowed the hurt version of me to make all of my relationship decisions. I was not aware that I had chosen to reenact the trauma of my father loss in my romantic relationships by choosing emotionally unavailable partners, making fear-based decisions, ignoring my needs and desires, and staying in relationships past their expiration date. The hurt version of me was looking for something in relationships that I was never going to find. I was searching for the love in relationships that I had not yet found in myself. And I was reminded of that recently. And it dawned on me that despite our best intentions, despite our intentionality in our healing, despite our diligence to changed behavior, despite surrounding ourselves with a supportive community, we don't realize that the hurt version of ourselves is right beneath the surface. And if you scratch too deep, it will bubble right back up through the tear that you made in your new foundation. Why am I saying this? Well, because I want you to know that the decision of which version of yourself gets to decide what happens in your relationships and life is moment to moment. It's not even a daily decision because 24 hours is too long of a time to hold on to that resolve. You have to decide moment to moment, situation to situation, trigger to trigger, which version of yourself will be making the decisions here. Healed or hurt, you decide. So here are my 3 tips on how you can build awareness of this decision. Otherwise, it will be a default setting. And if your default setting operates from a hurt place, every decision that you make reflects that. But before we do that, here is a word from our sponsor. Before we get back into this week's goodness, I want to invite you to join my private Facebook community, H.E.R Coalition. I make it my business to create safe spaces for fatherless daughters to learn, grow, and heal, and H.E.R Coalition does just that. We go deeper into conversations about the things that we discuss here on the podcast. I teach a new topic weekly, we share stories, and we just support and love each other. It's a space I wish I had growing up when I was clueless about how my fatherlessness affected me and yearning for a deeper connection. But I was just too paralyzed with the fear of rejection. Healing happens in community with like-minded and like-hearted people, and I would love to be in community with you. So join H.E.R Coalition at BernadetteJackson.com/community. The ladies of H.E.R Coalition get to choose the topic of weekly discussions. They get exclusive access to events and first dibs on all that my brand has to offer. So again, join me in H.E.R Coalition at BernadetteJackson.com/community. Okay, so first things first, pause. Yeah, take a beat, take a breath, and pause. Your initial reaction to something is not always the best reaction. During the pause, check in with yourself about how you feel. Asking yourself questions like, does this remind me of a past situation that didn't end well? Do I feel triggered right now? Why? What about this made me feel fearful or upset or sad? Or whatever feeling it brought up will help you to acknowledge and honor your feelings about the situation. That way, you are better equipped to move on to the second tip, which is to decide what outcome you'd like to have. This is very important because this will inform your next move. If, for instance, this reminds you of a past situation that didn't end well, and you know that it was partly because of how you handled it, reacting the same way you did back then may not be wise. In more cases than not, the best decision is the uncomfortable one. It's the one that stretches you. It's the one that can look scary, but it's the one that will yield the best results. And lastly, I need you to remember that you are only in control of yourself. So be flexible whenever possible. You cannot predict how others will respond to a decision that you make. You have to be okay with other people having the same agency over their decision making that you had over yours. Understand that when your decisions affect others or is contingent upon the participation of others, despite your best efforts, things do not always go as planned. So be okay with that. And that's it. These 3 tips will move you out of your default setting and into awareness of which version of yourself will make the decisions in your relationships and in life. Y'all, I get a ton of questions about relationships and business, and usually I just answer them. But a lot of the questions are ones where my response can be helpful to you too. So when I receive those kind of questions, I'll share them here in a new segment called Ask Bernadette. This is going to be good. And I'm excited today because I got one of those questions. So here we go. Hi, Bernadette. I've been on a healing journey for a little while now. I started dating again recently and I met this guy. He was very nice. We had great conversation. He was upfront about how he felt and what he wanted. It was all really refreshing, and I loved the connection that we had. There were some things that needed to be worked out. It wasn't all roses, but it wasn't anything that we couldn't handle. Then one day, we had a conversation that turned into a very heated debate. Neither one of us was backing down from our POV, and we couldn't come to the middle. We agreed to disagree and ended the conversation. Later that evening, he told me that the conversation left him feeling like he couldn't see a future with me, and he didn't want to lead me on. I was confused because the conversation was random. It wasn't a topic that would affect our relationship in any way. I don't know what to do. Should I try talking to him about it or should I just move on? Okay, y'all. Without the context of the conversation, 2 things immediately come to mind. Number 1 is that something about this conversation was triggering to him, and either he doesn't know how to articulate that to you, or he doesn't feel emotionally invested enough in you to where he believes that it warrants an explanation about why he felt triggered in that conversation. That's the first thing. The second thing that comes to mind is that His view of your budding relationship doesn't match yours. And if he doesn't share your feelings about the connection that you had, it would explain how one heated conversation about a random topic that wouldn't affect your relationship derailed everything. And the reason I say this is because when two people feel the same way, in that they can see a future with each other and they want to work together to build their relationship, there is an understanding that difficult conversations are 100% a part of the deal. When two individuals with diverse experiences, ideas, values, and expectations get together, there will be a learning curve. There will be misunderstandings, heated exchanges, and awkward moments. All of this is normal and very present in healthy relationships. So if this person is not capable of accepting this fact, they are likely not ready for a healthy relationship. So in answer to your question of should I try talking to him or just move on, I say just move on. It's as much a blessing when the wrong people exit your life as it is when the right people enter. Continue working on your healing and loving on yourself. Trust me, the rewards of the work that you're doing will yield beautiful fruit. Keep dating, keep meeting people, and just be open. I want to thank you guys for joining me today in another episode. And if you have any questions about relationships or business, you can reach out to me in my DMs at Bernadette N. Jackson or anonymously at BernadetteJackson.com/help. Don't forget that you deserve amazing relationships, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.